The thirst for toxic men. When you hear the term complicated men, tortured men, how does it make you feel? Intrigued, curious, uneasy, excited? What image comes to mind? Who do you picture? To picture him is simple. Understanding his many forms and the emotions he stirs within is more challenging. That is where the real task begins. The complicated tortured man, and commonly known as the bad boy or the rebel, has long been tied to traits like violence, dominance, and unshakable confidence. These qualities are often glamorized in movies, books, and other media, portraying this archetype as the epitome of masculinity. What's surprising, however, is that broad appeal of these depictions, not only to men, but also to women who find themselves drawn to the allure of the bad boy. But why? What psychological factors make rebellious, assertive, or even abusive behavior so captivating, whether in fiction or real life? Manliness equals violence? Since the dawn of human existence, men have been positioned as leaders and providers, tasked with protecting and guiding those under their care. Historically, this role was rooted in a protector-provider dynamic, where men were seen as the ultimate authority, often making decisions without the input of those affected, such as women and children, who were not seen as their equals. This "I know better" attitude, while framed as guidance, could also manifest as a form of domination, which some might argue constitutes a kind of violation or violence. Over time, this approach to leadership gave rise to a surrogate-like control, where those being protected were left with little control over their lives. While society has clearly evolved and these dynamics have shifted, certain remnants of these behaviors still linger today. Psychologist Dr. Seidman highlights that traits like dominance and assertiveness continue to be associated with strength and protection, qualities that women may unconsciously link to survival and security. In evolutionary terms, the alpha male archetype embodies someone capable of defending their partner and offspring. However, as Dr. Stern, author of The Gaslight Effect, explains, these very traits, assertiveness, charisma, and confidence, often mask manipulative or toxic behaviors, at least in the beginning. The founding daddies of toxic hotties. Pop culture has no shortage of toxic, red flag-laden male characters who have massive followings, strangely. Not that strange. These men exude charm, confidence, and allure, but are fundamentally flawed or outright dangerous. Here are 7 founding daddies of toxicity. These are my personal ones. Not personal in the sense that these are my toxic daddies, but in the sense that these are the most popular, at least according to what I've observed. So if you have personal ones that are, characters that you are attracted to, that you think are very attractive, but are very problematic in the same time, and you feel like I should have included them in there, or you feel like they're just interesting, add them in the comment. I will be very, very interested. Here are the all-male nominees. 1. Heathcliff, Wuthering Heights. In Emily Bronte's novel, Wuthering Heights, Heathcliff is the quintessential bad boy of classic literature. In Emily Bronte's novel, Heathcliff is the perfect example of a bad boy in classic literature. His obsessive love and vengeful actions are as toxic as they are passionate, yet readers continue to romanticize him. The perfect Byronic hero, he is described as demented, dark, disturbed, brooding, wild, brave, romantic, powerful, cynical, ruthless, abusive, cold, jealous, restless, vengeful, daring, obsessive, tormented, manipulative, confident, and determined according to classic literature fandom. He is consumed by a rage and a need for revenge so much that he's unable to maintain a sane, healthy relationship. It is not ambitious to assume that in this state, he would not be able to offer a fulfilling love to anyone. In Fennell's new adaptation of the book, Heathcliff would be played by someone no stranger to depicting such characters. However, due to the clear fact that the Australian bass actor does not fit the description of a dark-skinned Heathcliff, the casting choice has naturally raised the public eyebrow, along with mine. I guess we'll see for ourselves in time. 2. Ares from Xena. Selfish, mean, and reckless, Ares is the ultimate heart jerk. Xena herself did not hold him in high regard due to his questionable character, yet she couldn't resist him, ultimately sleeping with him despite knowing better. His brooding charm, physical appeal, and dangerous edge made the audience root for him too, revealing in the thrill of his toxic allure. 3. Chuck Bass from Gossip Girl. A classic one. I think you saw it coming, but classics are classics for a reason. Chuck embodies power, control, and unapologetic dominance, making him a fantasy for those drawn to confident bad boys. Despite his clear disrespect, he even traded his long-suffering girlfriend Blair Waldorf for his hotel. I still can't stomach that. I know he got better in the end. You know, she fixed him, but it's still... wow. Anyways, his good looks and magnetic presence overshadow his manipulation, cruelty, and insecurity, making him an iconic toxic hottie fans couldn't help but love. 4. Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey. Christian Grey is the epitome of toxic hotness. His wealth and control are undeniably captivating, especially his wealth. But his manipulative tendencies, emotional unavailability, and obsession with dominance raises countless red flags. This man is sick. But let's continue. We listen and we don't judge. Marketed as a kinky, adventurous lover, Christian is in truth an insecure and controlling man hiding behind a mask. Yet his commanding presence and his polished appearance make him irresistible to many. Definitely a case of beauty privilege, because again, this man is sick. By the way, I'm not judging anyone who's into something kinkier or something, if you want to be whipped, by all means, but make sure it's for the right reasons. In this case, if you want to do the whooping, do the whooping. If you want to do the bending, do the bending. I don't care. Just make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Tyler from Fight Club. Tyler is an anarchic. He's a dangerous man who criticizes society, but ultimately leads his followers into chaos. His magnetic personality and good looks overshadow his misogyny, power-hungry behavior, and sociopathic tendencies. Another sick man. Even with all his toxicity, Tyler remains a figure of fascination, his appeal rooted in his charisma and rebellion against societal norms. Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars. Anakin's toxicity is evident even before he succumbs to the dark side, as people like to claim. Oh, he was good before. Yeah, he wasn't that bad, but he wasn't great. Anyways, let's continue. His lack of loyalty, destructive behavior, and poor decision-making, such as his failure to spare Ashoka despite their close bond, hint at his flaws. He transformed from a sweet boy asking Padme if she's an angel to a fearful, angry man choking her despite his love for her. Anakin's descent into toxicity is as heartbreaking as it's captivating. His good looks and tragic vulnerability only heightens his appeal, making him a widely thirsted after character despite his destructive nature. Why are we like this? Gerard Butler in The Phantom of the Opera. His intense passion, musical genius, and tragic past make him deeply charismatic, drawing both Christine and the audience in. However, his love quickly turns into obsession. He isolates, manipulates, and controls Christine, using fear and guilt to keep her close. His possessiveness and jealousy drives him to violence, yet his emotional vulnerability makes him sympathetic. feeding into the fantasy that he can be saved by love. This mix of danger, passion, and wounded depth makes him an irresistible but ultimately toxic figure. These figures show that society has long idolized the dangerous dominant male. A toxic man is a losing game. Despite the allure of toxic masculinity, relationships with such men often leads to devastating outcomes. The psychological toll on partners can include diminished self-esteem, chronic stress, and even trauma. Psychologist Bancroft, in his book Why Does He Do That?, explained how abusive men manipulate their partners into cycles of dependence and doubt, eroding their sense of self and self-esteem. One study published in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence found that women in emotionally abusive relationships often experience higher rates of anxiety and depression. Another study in psychological science revealed that individuals exposed to manipulative and controlling behaviors over time tend to internalize blame, leading to a loss of self-love and confidence. The cost of loving a toxic man is steep, and the scar they leave can last a lifetime. Yes, it got serious. That's why it's important to keep it cute in the books. So why do we keep swooning over these characters despite their red flags? Because it's safe to do so in the realms of fiction. Fantasizing about toxic characters provide an outlet for exploring danger and dominance without the actual risk. Dr. Luce, a sociologist who studies romantic fantasies, argues that these fictional depictions allow individuals to play out forbidden or taboo dynamics in a controlled environment. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people often differentiate between what they desire in fantasy and what they want in real life. Indeed, through TV, films, and literature, one can experience the thrill provided by toxic men, exploring one's darkest fantasies, feeling the rush, the danger, the hair-raising moments, then withdraw unscathed. I, for one, find the cost of a book or a film ticket less costly than a relationship with a toxic man. Even though the goal and experience is widely different, much like the feminine audience of true crime, which consumes it as a means to inform themselves, gathering a better understanding of how and why certain things happen in order to gain the ability to recognize the signs and avoid bad situations, women who are in proximity to these characters gain an understanding of their behaviors and therefore the ability to avoid them. Understanding how harmful men operate can strip away the fear and mistakes surrounding them, demystifying their toxic behaviors. It allows us to recognize the warning signs and avoiding dangerous situations, engaging in these insights without the real-world consequences seen in real life. In fact, FK Twigs shared her experience, explaining that identifying the patterns abusive men follow helped her put her relationship into perspective. She realized that her experience wasn't unique, but rather a textbook application of age-old tactics used by toxic men. It was not them against the world, as she once believed, but him against her. While the allure of toxic men may be irresistible on screen or page, real-life relationship with such individuals can lead to heartbreak, diminished self-esteem, and long-term psychological harm. It's important to distinguish between the fantasy and the reality, recognizing that the behaviors we romanticize in fiction are not acceptable in real life. A common issue is the delusional, well-intentioned, I can fix him mindset. He's not Chuck, you're not Blair, you deserve better than that, she deserved better than that, but it's a show. While it's comforting to believe that change is possible, this notion often reflects personal desires and fantasies. The harsh reality is that most toxic individuals are irredeemable. The best thing to do with bad people is just to stay away.
So close your heart to toxic men.
No matter how charming, confident, or devastatingly handsome they may be.